Welcome back to LexTalks, legal topics simplified, where we like to take those complicated legal concepts and break them down into something you can actually use.
And today we are serving up a deep dive into something that every aspiring lawyer in India absolutely needs to know.
Ooh, okay, lay it on us.
Who is entitled to legal aid under the Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987.
Okay, so this act is a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about, the legal technicalities. It's tied to social justice in India.
Absolutely.
Can you kind of give us a rundown on why it's so important?
Yeah, think of it this way. The Indian Constitution promises justice for all
Right.
in Article 39A, and this act is how we actually make good on that promise.
Okay.
It ensures that everyone, regardless of background, has a fair shot in the legal system.
So it's like leveling the playing field.
Exactly.
And making sure no one is, denied justice just because they can't afford it.
Right.
But how does the act actually decide who qualifies for this free legal aid?
Well, it's really interesting how specific the act gets. It uses a combination of economic and social factors to sort of create a safety net for those who need it most.
Okay, so let's talk money first.
Sure.
How does income factor into eligibility?
So the act sets income thresholds, but here's the catch.
Okay.
They vary from state to state and even between urban and rural areas.
Oh, wow.
So someone in a rural village might qualify with a much lower income than someone, let's say, in Mumbai.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's all about recognizing the different economic realities across India.
It wouldn't be fair to have like a one-size-fits-all income limit for the entire country.
Exactly.
So what about folks who might not be struggling financially,
Right.
but still face barriers to justice?
That is where the social factors come in.
Okay.
So the act specifically includes scheduled castes and scheduled tribes of victims of human trafficking women and children.
Okay.
And here's a really powerful provision.
Okay.
Women are actually eligible for free legal aid regardless of their income.
Wow.
So that's a huge...
That's a huge step towards gender equality.
Ab-
So ensuring that women have access to legal support, no matter what their financial situation might be.
Exactly.
Are there other groups who are covered
Absolutely.
based on their circumstances?
So think about people with disabilities who might face additional legal hurdles.
Right.
Or victims of mass disasters like we've seen recently with the floods and,
Right.
mention a recent relevant disaster.
Yeah.
These people often need specialized legal help to navigate really complex situations.
It sounds like the act is designed to be really comprehensive,
It tries to be.
leaving no one behind.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about who qualifies right.
Right.
It also lays out what kind of legal help people can actually get.
You're exactly right.
So break that down for us.
So free legal aid doesn't just mean getting a lawyer for your court case.
Okay.
It starts with legal advice.
Okay.
Free consultations with experts to help you understand your rights.
Gosh.
Explore your options.
So you can get expert advice even if you're not sure if you have a case yet. That's empowering.
It is.
That's great.
And if your case does go to court, the act ensures you have legal representation,
Okay.
which relieves you of the financial burden of hiring a lawyer.
Right.
And to top it all off, it covers court fees too,
Wow.
which can be a major obstacle for a lot of people.
That's huge. It really removes like all of those financial barriers to actually, getting justice.
It tries to.
But this whole system sounds pretty massive.
It is a large system.
How does it actually work on the ground?
Yeah.
Who's in charge of making sure all of this aid reaches the people who need it?
So the act sets up a really impressive multi-tiered structure.
Okay.
At the top, we have the National Legal Services Authority,
Okay.
NALSA for short.
Okay.
And it's headed by none other than the Chief Justice of India.
That's a pretty big name to be attached to this.
Absolutely.
It shows how seriously India takes this commitment
Exactly.
to providing legal aid.
It is a fundamental right.
But NALSA doesn't work in isolation, right?
No, it does not.
There are folks on the ground, too.
Absolutely. To bring legal aid closer to the people, there are state legal services authorities, or
Okay.
SLSAs at the state level,
Okay.
and district legal services authorities, or DLSAs, at the district level.
So it's like a well-oiled machine
Hopefully.
with different parts working together to make sure that this aid is reaching every corner of the country.
It's the goal.
So what's their role in all of this?
They do a lot.
Okay.
They organize legal awareness camps to educate people about their rights.
Okay.
And they play a key role in setting up look-a-lots,
Look-a-lots.
which are like people's courts.
Okay, I've heard that term before.
Yes.
But I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
Yeah.
Can you give us a quick breakdown?
Imagine a system that is less formal, more focused on compromise.
Okay.
and doesn't cost a penny in court fees.
Yeah.
That's look at all it's in a nutshell.
So it's like, finding a win-win solution
Exactly.
that works for everyone involved.
That's the goal.
I like that approach.
And the legal system recognizes their value.
Mhm.
The Supreme Court actually upheld their importance in a landmark case back in 2005.
So look-at-a-lots aren't just like some informal side gig.
No, they're not.
They're an integral part of the legal landscape in India.
Very much so.
That's fascinating. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We talked about why this act matters.
Yes.
Who's eligible for legal aid,
Yes.
what kind of help they can get,
Absolutely.
and this very impressive structure that makes it all happen.
A lot of moving pieces.
But I'm curious, are there any landmark cases
Oh, many.
that have really shaped how this act is applied in real life?
There's one that really stands out as a game changer.
Okay.
NALSA v. Union of India back in 2014.
Okay.
It was a landmark moment for transgender rights in India.
Wow. Okay, tell me more.
The Supreme Court, in this case, recognized transgender individuals as a third gender,
Wow.
with all the fundamental rights that come with it.
Okay.
And they directed the government to make sure those rights were protected.
So it's really using the law to kind of push social progress forward?
Absolutely.
That's incredible. So it shows how this act is not just about providing legal aid.
Right.
It's about using the law to create a more inclusive
The more just.
and just society.
Exactly.
This has been such an eye-opening
I'm
discussion.
glad to hear it.
We've gone from the broad strokes of, what this act is to some very specific examples
Yeah.
of how it's being used to make a difference.
Absolutely.
But I'm guessing it's not always smooth sailing, right?
Of course not.
What are some of the challenges in implementing this act effectively?
One of the biggest is awareness.
Okay.
A lot of people who are eligible for legal aid simply don't know about it
Oh, wow.
or how to access it.
So it's not enough to just have these services available.
No.
You have to make sure that people know
You got to spread the word.
they exist and how to use them.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then there's the whole infrastructure challenge.
Yeah.
We need more lawyers,
More resources.
more resources to do their job effectively.
Wait, we need to build a robust system that can actually meet the needs of the people.
What about the quality of legal assistance provided?
That's a valid point.
Is that a concern?
It is a concern.
Okay.
There have been some concerns raised about the, competence and commitment
Right.
of some legal aid lawyers.
Okay.
So we need to make sure that everyone who's receiving legal aid is getting high quality representation.
So it's not just about quantity.
No,
It's about quality as well.
absolutely.
Now, before we move on, I have to ask,
Sure.
can technology play a role in all of this?
It's a great question.
It seems like it could be a game changer
Huge potential.
and making legal aid more accessible and efficient.
Absolutely. Technology has a huge role to play, especially in a country as vast and diverse as India.
Okay.
But that's a discussion for our next segment.
Okay. All right. So stay tuned, everybody. We're going to be talking more about technology in legal aid.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to LexTalks. I'm excited to continue our discussion of the Legal Services Authorities Act and how to make it even more effective in delivering justice for all.
Yeah, last time we kind of left our listeners with a little bit of a cliffhanger
We did.
about how technology could help revolutionize legal aid in India.
Very important topic.
I'm eager to dive into that, but first let's kind of circle back to those challenges that we were discussing.
Yes.
Awareness seems like a big one.
Huge.
How do we make sure that people, especially those in rural areas,
Right.
know about their right to legal aid?
You hit the nail on the head. We can have the best legal aid system in the world, but it won't matter if people don't know about it.
Right.
SLSAs and DLSAs are already doing great work with those legal aid camps,
Right.
but we need to get even more creative and more proactive. Imagine mobile legal aid units traveling to remote villages, almost like legal clinics on wheels.
Like a mobile law firm.
Exactly.
Bringing legal aid directly to the people.
Meeting them where they are, literally and figuratively.
Oh, I love that. And we can't forget about technology here.
Of course not.
I mean, think about sending out SMS messages, sharing basic legal rights, or creating short videos
Yes.
in local languages that explain the act in very simple terms.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And, we can leverage existing networks to spread that information.
Right.
Show those videos at community centers during village meetings, even on local cable TV channels.
Oh, yeah.
We need to tap into what people are already using.
Absolutely. And let's not underestimate the power of just word of mouth.
Oh, huge.
Local leaders, teachers, religious figures.
Right.
I mean, these are the people who have the trust of the community.
Absolutely.
They can be really powerful advocates for legal aid.
Trust is everything, especially when dealing with legal matters, because
Right.
it can be very intimidating.
Right.
People need to know they can turn to someone for help without being judged or feeling scared.
Okay, so awareness is crucial,
It is.
but it's only part of the puzzle. We also need to strengthen the infrastructure of the legal aid system itself.
Yes.
More lawyers, more resources.
Absolutely. We need to invest in building a strong pool of dedicated legal aid lawyers who are well-trained and fairly compensated for their expertise.
What?
It's about valuing their work,
Right.
recognizing that this is a vital public service.
And it's not just about quantity.
No, it's not.
We need to ensure that the quality of legal assistance provided is consistently high.
Absolutely.
How do we address those concerns about competence and commitment
Yeah.
that we mentioned earlier?
Ongoing professional development is key.
Okay.
Mandatory training programs.
Okay.
Equipping legal aid lawyers with the skills and knowledge they need to handle these really diverse cases effectively.
Right.
And then regular peer review and mentorship programs.
Okay.
You know, having that support system to navigate challenging situations.
So it's like any other profession.
Exactly.
Continuing education helps you stay sharp.
Right.
And having a support system makes it a little easier.
Absolutely. And technology can play a big role here, too.
Okay, how so?
Online platforms can connect legal aid lawyers with experts in specific fields.
Okay.
So they can access that specialized knowledge quickly and easily.
So it's all about kind of using technology to empower those on the front lines
Exactly.
who are providing the legal aid.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about training and support for lawyers,
Yes.
but what about making the system itself more efficient?
Yeah.
Can we streamline some of these processes with technology?
Absolutely. Imagine a comprehensive legal aid portal, a one-stop shop for everything
Okay.
related to legal aid,
Okay.
a digital library with legal information,
Okay.
a directory of legal aid lawyers, and a platform for filing applications or scheduling consultations all online.
It's bringing it all into the 21st century,
Exactly.
making it so user-friendly.
Exactly. And remember those virtual hearings we talked about?
Yes.
We could expand their use to even more remote areas, maybe even using mobile courts that travel to communities with limited access to justice.
Taking the courtroom to the people.
It's exactly being proactive.
I'm loving these ideas. It feels like we're brainstorming this whole new legal aid system
It's exciting.
that's powered by technology and human connection.
Absolutely.
But we can't forget about, the future generation of lawyers.
Yes, the law students.
Yes. What role can they play in all of this?
Law students are a vital part of the equation.
Oh.
They can contribute immensely through legal aid clinics,
Yeah.
providing assistance under the guidance of experienced lawyers.
So they get that hands-on experience.
Exactly.
The legal aid system gets a boost in manpower.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's a perfect opportunity for students to, really put their legal knowledge to use for social good.
Absolutely.
What else can they do to kind of get involved and make a difference?
They can organize awareness campaigns, create educational materials, and use social media to spread the word about legal aid.
I mean, young people are so tech savvy.
They are.
They can reach a whole new audience.
Absolutely. And make that information accessible and engaging.
Yeah, it's all about harnessing that energy
Absolutely.
and passion
And making a difference.
to make a difference. And remember, this isn't just about ticking a box or fulfilling some requirement.
Yeah.
It's about being a voice for the voiceless,
Yes.
about using your skills to really empower people
It is.
who might not otherwise have access to justice.
Exactly. It's about making a tangible impact on people's lives.
Okay, so we've covered awareness, infrastructure, technology, and even the role of law students.
We've covered a lot.
But are there any kind of bigger picture systemic changes that could make this act even stronger?
Now you're thinking like a true legal reformer.
Mm.
We need to look beyond just addressing those immediate issues and think about long-term solutions.
Okay.
One area that deserves attention is the appointment process for legal aid lawyers.
So making sure that only the most qualified and committed
Lawyers.
are selected to provide legal aid.
Exactly. We need a rigorous and transparent selection process that prioritizes experience, dedication, and a genuine passion for social justice.
All right.
Maybe even a specialized certification program
Okay.
for legal aid lawyers,
Interesting.
focusing on the unique skills and knowledge needed in this field.
Like a special bar exam,
Exactly.
just for legal aid practice.
Exactly.
I like that idea.
It would ensure that everyone providing legal aid meets a certain standard of expertise.
So what else can we do to kind of strengthen the system as a whole?
Accountability is crucial.
Okay.
We need a robust system for monitoring and evaluating the performance of legal aid lawyers
Okay.
and the overall effectiveness of the system.
Okay.
Regular audits,
Okay.
client feedback mechanisms, performance-based incentives.
So it's about having those checks and balances in place.
Exactly.
Making sure that the system is working as intended.
Absolutely.
And that the quality remains high.
And let's not forget, this act is a living document.
Okay.
It needs to evolve and adapt
Fine.
to meet the changing needs of our society.
So it's not about fixing what's broken.
No.
It's about constantly striving
It's about constantly improving,
to make it better.
being proactive, anticipating future challenges,
Okay.
and making sure that this act remains a powerful tool for justice.
This has been such an inspiring and thought-provoking conversation.
I'm glad.
We've gone from identifying the challenges
Yes,
to brainstorming some really creative solutions.
we have.
And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
But before we wrap up today,
Yes.
I want to shift our focus a little bit.
Okay.
We've been talking about legal aid in the context of India,
Right.
but this is a global issue.
Absolutely. Access to justice is a global challenge.
It raises an interesting question. What can India learn from other countries?
Right?
And what insights can India offer to the world?
Exactly. It's like a global exchange of ideas and best practices, all aimed at making justice accessible to everyone.
So it's like a global collaboration to make justice a reality for everyone.
Exactly. And that's something we'll dive into in our next segment.
Okay, so stay tuned, everybody. We're going to be taking legal aid global. Welcome back to LexTalks. Last time we were talking about how legal aid is a global issue, and I'm really excited to kind of dig into how other countries are tackling this challenge.
It's fascinating to see the different approaches countries take to ensure access to justice.
Yeah,
It's like looking through a kaleidoscope of legal systems,
I like that.
each with its own unique patterns and colors.
Okay, so let's start our global legal tour, shall we? Where are we headed first?
Let's hop across the pond to the United States.
Okay.
Their legal aid system relies heavily on nonprofit organizations.
Yeah.
And lawyers doing pro bono work,
Pro bono work.
which means they volunteer their time for free.
So it's a blend of government funding
Right.
and the legal community kind of stepping up to fill the gaps.
It is, and it's not a perfect system, of course, but it has helped countless people access legal representation who wouldn't have been able to afford it otherwise.
Okay, that's great. Now, where are we going next?
Let's fly down to South Africa.
Okay.
They have a really unique approach with a national institution called Legal Aid South Africa,
Wow.
which is dedicated solely to providing legal aid services across the country.
A whole institution?
A whole institution just focused on legal aid.
That's a serious commitment.
It is.
What kind of work do they do?
They handle a wide range of cases
Okay.
with a special focus on public interest law and social justice issues.
Okay.
But here's what I find particularly interesting.
What's that?
Their use of community-based paralegals.
Community-based paralegals. I've never heard of that. Well, that's...
They're individuals from within the community
Okay.
who are trained to provide basic legal advice and assistance.
Oh, okay.
They act as a bridge between the formal legal system and the people, especially in rural or marginalized communities.
So they're kind of like a liaison
Exactly.
between the community and the legal system.
Exactly. Taking legal aid to the grassroots level, making it more accessible and culturally relevant.
That's brilliant. All right, where to next?
Let's hop over to Europe.
Okay.
The United Kingdom has a long history of legal aid,
Okay.
with a system that's mostly funded by the government.
Yep.
But they've been facing some challenges in recent years
Oh, really?
with budget cuts and reforms,
Oh, wow.
which has led to some debates about, how accessible their legal aid services really are.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even in countries that have these well-established legal aid systems,
Right.
there's always a need to be vigilant
Absolutely.
and to advocate for, continued funding and access.
It's an ongoing battle.
It is an ongoing battle.
Yeah.
So we've looked at all these different approaches now.
We have.
What insights do you think India can offer the world?
Well, our luck at a lot system is definitely a unique model.
Yeah.
It's cost-effective, accessible,
Yeah.
and deeply rooted in Indian culture.
Right.
I think other countries, especially those with similar community-based traditions, could really adapt and benefit from this approach.
Yeah, that emphasis on compromise and mediation and community involvement.
Absolutely.
I feel like that could be really valuable.
It's a great export to other legal systems.
Now,
And let's not forget about the strides India is making in using technology for legal aid.
right. All the work that's being done with e-filing and virtual hearings and mobile courts,
Absolutely.
I feel like that could inspire other countries who are,
Absolutely. Especially those that struggle with vast distances and limited infrastructure.
right, exactly.
Yeah. It's really exciting to see how technology can break down those barriers,
Yeah.
make legal aid more efficient and more accessible to everybody.
But this global exchange of ideas isn't just about India sharing its innovations.
Right.
We can learn from other countries too. I
Absolutely.
mean, they're best practices.
What do you think we could learn?
I really like the U.S. model of pro bono work
Yes.
and those partnerships with nonprofits
Absolutely.
to expand the reach of legal aid services in India.
Wonderful idea. And South Africa's community-based paralegals could be a great model for reaching marginalized communities here.
Yeah, it's all about finding that right mix of approaches, adapting the solutions
Exactly.
to fit the context
Right.
and the specific challenges of each country.
This global perspective has been so enlightening.
It really has.
Yeah.
It highlights how access to justice is a universal challenge
It is.
and how much we can learn from each other's, successes and
So
struggles.
it's a collaborative effort.
So for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
especially, those budding legal eagles, eager to make a difference in the world,
Yes.
what's the key takeaway from all of this?
What have we learned today?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the pursuit of justice transcends borders.
Absolutely.
As future legal professionals, your role isn't limited to the courtroom or even to India.
Right.
You have the power to advocate for legal reforms, develop innovative solutions, and collaborate with others around the world to make this a reality for everyone.
That's beautifully said. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, exploring the intricacies of the Legal Services Authorities Act, brainstorming solutions to its challenges, and even taking a trip around the world to learn from other legal systems.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
We hope this has given you a deeper understanding of how crucial legal aid is for building a just and equitable society.
Absolutely.
And remember, this isn't where the conversation ends.
No, it's not.
It's a call to action
It is.
for each of us to continue engaging with these issues, pushing for positive change, and working towards a world where justice is truly within everyone's reach.
So well said. Thank you for listening to LexTalks. Subscribe and stay engaged.